Hey guys, welcome back. So, big food news today was that Chef Eddie Wong declared that he was a vegan to reduce his environmental footprint. Good for him, man. I mean, I don't know the guy, maybe he's pranking us, but he seems legit, and that's great. I was a vegetarian myself for 4 years. At the time, I was cooking at a ski area in Montana. I was grilling a lot of food for people. I never felt like I was missing out. I don't think my food suffered, and I did what I had to do. It sort of gave me a different perspective on things. So that's awesome if that's what he feels like he's got to do. Having been on the periphery of the food world for the past 15 years doing cooking shows, it's actually kind of a big deal, I think, for a chef like him to make that step. So it's curious to see what he's going to do now that he's working with sort of a new palette. Coincidentally, I was planning to do my very special oven roasted bean meat. So kind of timely. All right, so here it is, and it's tofu, not actually meat. My 4-year-old, who's an adventurous eater, he eats a lot of crazy stuff like octopus and fish eggs and all kinds of meat, refuses to eat tofu. So I started calling it bean meat. And then I decided to start flavoring it a bit. Now, back when I was a vegetarian, there used to be these blocks of deep fried tofu, which were great, but that was a long time ago and I can't find them anymore. I started frying it myself, but it's a real pain in the ass. So I finally hunted around, found some recipes for baking it, which makes it taste really good, gives it a nice texture, and a lot easier than frying. Personally, I think tofu gets a bad rep. I really like this stuff. I'll even eat it plain. I liked it before I became a vegetarian. I like it now. One nice thing about it is that it takes on flavors that you give to it. So you can add whatever you want for whatever you're cooking, whatever dish you're adding it to, and it's really going to pick up a lot of flavor, and I think that's really helpful. This is the special pre-pressed stuff, which I don't find a lot. So today I'm going to show you how to start with a regular block of firm tofu, press it, make it a little denser before it goes into the oven, and then make some good roasted bean meat. First thing you want to do is get some of the water out so it'll crisp up when it bakes. Slice it fairly thin, about 1/4 of an inch, lay it on a cutting board and sprinkle some salt on it to draw the water out. Tilt the board so the water will drain and lay something on top of it to press the tofu down and speed things up. Leave it like that for about an hour. Now for the marinade, it's 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, a tablespoon of honey, about a tablespoon of lazy minced ginger, and about a tablespoon of whatever lazy garlic you use. When the bean meat's all pressed and drained, lay it out on a baking sheet or a cookie sheet with parchment paper, otherwise it's going to be a hell of a mess, and then brush on the marinade. If you've got kids, this is a fine time for a beer break and a character building lesson. Go ahead, I'll time you. Bake those at 350 for half an hour, then flip them and paint the other side with the marinade and put them back in the oven for another half an hour. And if you've got a convection oven, use the fan. The idea is to dry these out and make them kind of crispy. So I'm doing sort of like a very basic, generic kind of flavor profile here. But the great thing about bean meat is it takes on whatever flavors you want to give it. So change it up however you like. Add some heat, add some different flavors, go in a totally different direction. Bean meat is going to be happy to go along with you. All right, so what you end up with, these nice little squares of tofu. They're brown, they can be a little bit crusty on the edge, they're a little bit dense. They lend themselves well to be cut into like strips or cubes or whatever. And they're really tasty. They're savory, they have nice umami, good texture. They go very well washed down with a local craft brew. So, if you want to change things up a little bit, maybe you want to reduce your footprint, maybe not. You just want to try something new. Forget about tofu. Try some oven roasted bean meat instead. I'm glad to say that my 4-year-old anti-tofu son actually likes this stuff in moderation, but I consider that a victory. So give it a try if you like it. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, all that stuff. Tell your friends, tell the world. And I'll see you next time, guys. Cheers.